Hello everyone, welcome back to my video lecture series on R microcontroller and embedded systems. So here today I'm going to explain a memory map, bit binding operation and development flow, a program development flow. The learning outcomes of these topics are that students will be able to demonstrate memory organization of Cortex M3 processor, and by knowing this they can utilize or utilization of memory regions in writing programs. So here a memory map in the right side in the figure it is being shown that a 4 GB of the memory of Cortex M3 processor is being displayed. So this 4 GB of memory is divided into many regions. We will go one by one. So here a total of 4 GB of memory which is fixed for all Cortex M3 processor, mainly the private peripheral bus. So it is almost fixed because the components which are involved into this private peripheral memory, those are normally used for other devices also. That is why it is going to be a fixed memory space. So here it is divided into many regions, like from the beginning the first point is 0.5 GB of code region to store programs. So here we have SRAM also, but it is very much it is the way that if we store our programs into a code region, then fetching of those code will be very easy and faster than the SRAM. Then we have a 0.5 GB of SRAM region with bitband operation. So this SRAM operation is basically divided into some other regions that is also being displayed here. Bitband region of 1 MB, then a 32 MB of bitband alias. Regarding these topics we will see in the next slide. Then another 0.5 GB block of address is allocated to on-chip peripherals. So similar to the SRAM region, this region also supports bitband alias and is accessed via the system bus interface. However, the instruction execution in this region is not allowed. Then we have 1 GB of external RAM as well as 1 GB of external device. The difference between the two is that the program execution in the external device region is not allowed, but the program execution in the RAM, 1 GB of RAM, external RAM, it is allowed. And there are some differences with caching behavior between external device and external RAM. After this we have the last point, 0.5 GB of system level components. So here it involves not only a system level components, it involves also internal peripheral buses, external peripheral buses, and some vendor specific system peripherals. So like we can elaborate this as the buses, the peripheral buses, that is advanced high performance bus, we have AHB. Then this AHB includes NVIC. You can see that in the address of 0E000 E000 we have NVIC. So this is being connected through AHB. This involves NVIC, FPB, DWT and ITM, as well as the APB, Advanced Peripheral Bus. This involves on-chip APB peripherals on this private peripheral bus. So here these components like FPB, fetch, patch and breakpoint unit, data watch point and trace unit, instrumentation trace macro cell, ITM, ETM, embedded trace macro cell, TPIU, trace port interface unit and ROM table. All these are connected through a peripheral bus, private peripheral bus for a system level components to support a debugging of Cortex M3. Next we'll explain about bitband operation. So here a bitband operation allows a single load store operation to access, or that is to access is read or write to a single data bit. That is, the load and store instructions are used to write a single bit of a data. So for this, a 0.5 GB of SRAM region supports bitband operation. That in the previous memory map, the SRAM is being divided into a 32 MB of bitband alias and 1 MB of bitband region. So here it has 1 MB of bitband region which can be accessed via a 32 MB of bitband alias region within SRAM, within this 0.5 GB. This is not a new idea, but where we have already come across a bit manipulation instructions in the 8051 architecture before 30 years only. So that is nothing but this bitband operation is same as a bit manipulation, that is accessing a single bit by another address. A 1 MB of bitband region is a bit filled memory. I repeat, a 1 MB of bitband region is a bit filled memory and its a single bit accessing address is mapped with the 4-byte address from bitband alias. That is, a single bit is remapped with the word aligned address. So how it is going to be remapped, that we will see in the next slide. A single bit of bitband region can be read, modify, write through an LSB of 4-byte address of bitband alias. See how it is going to be attached with the bitband alias. Here we have 1 MB of memory which is also having a word aligned. In bitband alias also we have one word memory which is also 4-byte aligned. So a single bit in the bitband region is accessed by the address from bitband alias. So how this is going to happen, we will see in the next slide. So here we have taken one example. So without bitband program and with bitband program, we will talk about a with bitband program. Here what we have done is, basically in the right side, top right side figure, we can see that the SRAM is divided into bitband region 1 MB of size and bitband alias. So the bitband region starts at the address from 0x to 0000000 to 0x to 00f FFFF. So total of 1 MB. And bitband alias starts from 0x22000000 to 0x23 FFFFFF. So now we will go for the example. Here with bitband operation, we have written some 3 lines here. Here we are going to write a single bit data into a bitband region where in the second bit of bitband region. So to access the second bit of bitband region, we have to write the data into the 22000008. So in the below figure we can see that the memory map is for bitband region address, which is started at 200000 and 00. So here the first bit of this memory location is having one more address, and that address is from the bitband alias, and that address starting at 22000000. So to write into the second bit, single bit will be having a 4-byte address. 22000000 is a first bit, 22000004 is a second bit, zeroth bit, first bit, and the second bit will be having 22000008. So therefore in the program we have written LDR R0 comma equal to 0x22000008. So here we have set up the address first, and in that address we are going to write a 1, that is this bit will be set str r1 comma in the address of r0. So this is how the bitband operation is going to be worked. So what is actual advantage of this bitband operation is, we can say that here it is used for a serial data transfer in GPIO ports to serial devices, as well as by using this bitband operation we can simplify a branch decisions or branch operations. So instead of jumping from one location to another location and updating a number of flags in the CPSR, we can have those values in this bitband operation. Here we'll go through typical development flow of any assembly program or C program. In the figure we can easily come to know that in the above side the C file is being written with a .c extension. After writing a program, .c program, a compiler which is going to convert this program into an object file. Object file is a binary file, but it cannot be executed because still the object file needs to the object file needs some implementation with the memory layouts. Then in the downside, it is also the same thing, but writing an assembly files with the .s extension or any other like .asm extension, we require assembler, ARM assembler. Then that ARM assembler will convert this .s file into .o file or .obj file, object file. These files are not having a proper memory layout. That is why these files cannot be executed. Later on, these object files are going to be linked with the library files. So that is done by using a tool arm link, which is a linker. A scatter loading script maybe it's an optional, we can use or we may not use, but if you use it, the complexity increases. After linking with the library files or header files, the linker will give us an executable image file in the form of .afx, axf or .elf. And later on this file can be executed or it can be extracted through a binary program image .bin or disassembled code .text. So there are various software tools are available, and they give a same flow of file generation as in the above figure. For ARM solutions, the RealView Development Suite (RVDS) or RealView Compiler Tools (RVCT), this provides a file generation flow, and this contains utilities like IDE and debuggers. Like we have a Keil Microvision IDE. So this is up to this topics. In next, we'll go through some newer topics. Thank you.